Hey guys, welcome back to the CCC. We are excited to introduce something not only new to you guys, but it's new to the CCC. We've not touched on anything like this before. Full disclosure, I've never actually made this particular drink. Rysse, have you made this before?
I have never made a milk punch ever, but if I was ever going to make a milk punch, my first would obviously be this Mezcal milk punch.
Some of you are thinking that sounds disgusting. Some of you may be thinking you've had a milk punch before that is clear, which is a clarified milk punch. I actually am really intrigued by, but this is not one of those. This is more along the lines of like a bourbon milk punch. Maybe you'd have in New Orleans. Even eggnog actually is a form of a milk punch. So this is more along those lines. It's a little creamier. This is a good after dinner drink, a sipper that's sweet, but it's got some interesting combinations here that I'm really excited about with Mezcal, Creme de Cacao, and with, of course, ancho, which we put in everything.
Yeah, this is a whole big bunch of like my very favorite things. I mean, it's chocolate, it's ancho, it's Mezcal. I'm in love. Can't be bad.
Yeah, it can't be
but
bad.
I've never made it before.
So, and I did do some nerdy research, although this probably applies more to the clarified milk punch, but it's in the same family. Do you know how old the milk punch cocktail or recipe is?
Older than me, probably about as old as you.
That's incorrect and insulting. The original milk punch recipe dates back to the late 1600s.
So I wasn't wrong, about as old as you.
Silver platter. I just gave you a perfect silver platter right there. Benjamin Franklin was a big fan of the milk punch and apparently had his own recipe that had brandy in it. And another final bit of trivia, it was actually in the White House cookbook in the late 1800s. It was part of one of their rotating drinks that they would make in the White House. Most milk punch cocktails that you'll have in bars, which have become very on trend lately, are clarified. So they're clear. They can be made with any base spirit.
I was gonna say, why don't you tell everybody how it becomes clarified?
Okay, it's not the most attractive description, but basically you take a warm milk of in this case, we're actually using coconut milk today, but you add a citrus to it, and the acidity in the citrus mixed with milk, and actually in particular warm milk, causes the milk to curdle. And then you add any spirit. So whether back in the day it was brandy, it could be bourbon, what have you. Today we're using Mezcal, like I said, as well as anything else. And then you fine strain it through a cheesecloth, which is not one of my favorite words, by the way, a cheesecloth.
I mean, fine strained curdled milk through a cheesecloth.
And and then you actually have this beautiful cocktail that is clear, doesn't even taste like milk. It's one of those things that doesn't sound so great, but every bartender that's made it that I read about said it becomes like the most popular drink on the menu. People love them because they're so complex and they take on so many different flavors depending on how you make it. It's sort of like a blank canvas for a cocktail.
So what does it end up tasting like once you strain out all the curdle? So you're straining out all the fat.
Right.
So what does it taste like?
A lot of it depends on what you're using as your base spirit. But I've heard everything from sweet to nutty to, I mean, the most common ones were sweet, nutty, and then of course taking on the effect of whatever citrus, whatever spirit, whatever amari or aperitif, anything else you would throw in there.
Okay, so then my next question is, once you have this clarified, brandy or, whatever spirit, do you mix it with something else? Or is it, you really just serve that sort of as is?
Well, yes. Meaning one place I read about actually makes a virgin version. So then it's something that is completely neutral. You can add in a spirit. So it's really more about the citrus, any kind of sweeteners they're adding, but then they actually add the spirit later, right? The more common one though is once it's made, that is the cocktail. You pour it over a large rock or over rocks and it's a sipper. Typically also it's made with an overproof because of dilution to kind of offset that. But it's really not intended to be a super boozy cocktail.
Mm-hmm. I'd imagine it works better with a bourbon, a scotch, a brandy, something brown and thick.
Most of the ones I've seen, both either in person or on menus or even just doing research, tend to be sort of a brownish clear, almost like a ginger ale kind of color. Right? That's your clarified, which ironically we're not even making today, but that's sort of that was the original foundation for what's morphed into other versions of milk punches like we're making today.
Yeah. So this guy could end up really sweet. Interestingly, Jason and I both interpreted coconut milk potentially differently. We don't even know. He got out the, big old gallon from, drink of coconut milk. I drink almond milk. I don't drink coconut milk, so did not even occur to me that it came like that. And I went for my, into the Asian section to get some coconut milk. I use that to make coconut rice all the time. It makes it nice and sticky and sweet and delicious. But we're not sure if it's the same coconut milk or not. So we'll have to
find out.
I've already pre-poured him. That's why he's upside down.
I wasn't sure if you were making a statement there.
Yes, my statement was, I've already had a few of these. Let's make this before, if it sits here longer, it's going to curdle.
Well, it will curdle. That's true, especially if you open up the doors and windows right now. So we're using a shaker tin. So this is a shaken cocktail.
Even though there's no citrus in here, there is coconut milk. So we're going to go ahead and shake it.
Yeah. We're starting, our base spirit is Mezcal, but only 1 ounce. So a little bit less than you guys are probably used to us using. And then a 1/2 ounce of Creme de Cacao, which, as you guys know, is one of our I call it a new favorite. At least in my house, it's become a new favorite.
I do like it a lot. This is a place that if you never did buy the clear one, if you only have the brown Creme de Cacao, it's fine in this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead and use it.
Yeah, we definitely hide it here. And then 1/2 ounce of Ancho Reyes. We are using the brown, like the original Ancho Reyes, not the Verde. And I would say this is one where it would not be good to swap it out.
Just sounds curdled.
And then 1 ounce of coconut milk, whatever variety you have.
Although, don't you wonder if it would be okay with almond milk?
Yeah, I can't imagine it'd be, yeah. I mean, well, frankly, most milk punches use regular milk anyways. All right, grab your ice. We're gonna be shaking this, but in addition to that, we also grabbed our large rocks. If you have a large square, a large round. Yeah.
Extra points if it's clear.
Yes, always use clear if you can.
Ice and shake.
That's it. Let's see what we
Strain it over your large rock. This looks totally different than anything we've made.
All right. And full disclosure, we are out of dark chocolate, so I'm using a milk chocolate with hazelnut.
Went and bought some, good for you, chimpanzee saving dark chocolate.
Did you just make that up?
Swear to God, did not.
That's hilarious.
10% of net profits to save our wildlife. The CCC is nothing if not for a good cause.
All right. And then we're just going to lightly shave some chocolate. How's yours working?
Beautifully, actually.
This is one where I do think the dark chocolate is the way to go. If I had some, I would be using it.
Also, that if you have that large format cube, I would go with a cube instead of a sphere because it lays on top of it so nicely when you have the shavings.
This looks good. It smells good. It's got great ingredients. There's no reason it will not be delicious.
It's gonna be delicious, but not a lifestyle cocktail for the pool. A lifestyle cocktail for after dinner. This is definitely an after dinner drink, but it is low ABV, so you could drink a few of these. But it's sweet.
It is. Well, it should be sweet. But what I like about it is it's an after dinner cocktail that's not like. I think in most nightcap cocktails, they tend to be warm. You have it in a snifter or a cordial glass, and it's, you want to be by a fire, and this is not that. This is going to be still, I think, somewhat refreshing and a cooler cocktail. So I think this time of year. A more
approachable, more summery version of an after dinner.
Yeah, a summery version, exactly.
Okay.
We'll see you guys Thursday.
See you Thursday.
Cheers, Rysse.
Cheers, Jason.